The lamp in the night, long ago, in a small village lying quietly at the foot of a mountain, there lived a boy named and his parents had died when he was still very young, and he survived only through the kindness of the villagers. Yet his childhood was filled with sorrow. Each day, while working as a hired hand, he would hear the villagers' disparaging words. That orphan will never achieve anything, or his life is nothing but misfortune, and would often sit silently beside the stream, watching the water flow swiftly by and wonder about his fate. A single question kept returning to him: why was I born only to suffer? What meaning does life truly hold? One evening, as dusk was falling, and heard that a renowned Zen master had come to stay at the monastery upon the nearby mountain, it was said that the master's eyes shone as brightly as the full moon, and that each of his words could open a hidden door in the hearts of those who listened. Longing for an answer and resolved to climb the mountain in search of him, the path was steep and stony at times, and thought he could not continue. Yet the question in his heart urged him onwards. I must find the answer. By the time he reached the monastery gate, the night had already descended. In the courtyard, a small oil lamp was burning, casting a warm and gentle glow. The Zen master was seated there, as still as an ancient pine. When he saw an approach, he smiled. Without waiting for the boy to speak, the master handed him a bowl and said, "Go to the kitchen, fill this bowl with water, and bring it back here. But remember, you must take the narrow path outside the courtyard, and do not spill a single drop." Though puzzled and obeyed, the path was dark and uneven, covered with stones. He walked carefully, step by cautious step, afraid that the water might spill. When he finally returned, the bowl was still full, and breathed a sigh of relief. The master then asked, "As you walked, did you see the moon above you? Did you hear the wind whispering through the trees?" And shook his head. "I only worried about the bowl of water, afraid it would spill." The master nodded. "Your life is much the same. Your mind clings so tightly to a bowl of suffering that you no longer see the vast sky surrounding you." Hearing this, and felt a sudden lightness, yet he still did not fully understand. He asked, "Master, what must I do to be free of this heavy suffering?" The master picked up the oil lamp from the courtyard, handed it to him, and said, "Take this lamp and walk through every corner of the monastery, lighting your way, and carefully carry the lamp through the halls and corridors." Wherever he went, the dim light revealed what had once been hidden: the old wooden beams, the moss on the stone steps, the quiet corners of the temple. When he returned, the master said, "This lamp cannot banish all the darkness of the mountain night, yet wherever it shines, the darkness retreats. So it is with wisdom. It may not instantly remove all the suffering of life, but the moment you kindle the lamp of understanding within your heart, the shadows of ignorance began to fade." The words sank deeply into Anne's mind. He realized that his suffering was not the end of his story. Being an orphan was a circumstance, not a destiny. What mattered was whether he could keep alight the lamp of wisdom to guide his steps. From that day, and remained at the monastery, learning meditation and the practice of mindfulness. At first, grief and sorrow would rise again within him, yet each time they did, he would sit quietly, breathing in and breathing out, recalling the master's words, "The lamp does not banish all darkness, but it is enough to take the next step." Years passed and grew into a calm and steadfast young man. The villagers who came to the monastery were astonished to see how the once sorrowful orphan now carried a gentle smile and radiant eyes. Many sought his counsel whenever misfortune came upon them. One day, a farmer who had lost all his crops to floods came in despair, ready to abandon his land, and invited him to sit, quietly poured him a cup of tea, and then pointed to the oil lamp on the table. We cannot stop the storms, but we can light this lamp with its light. We can see the path before us. The farmer wept, bowing in gratitude. News of it spread. People began to call him the little lamp of the village, yet and would only smile, remembering that first night on the mountain. The old oil lamp still burned in the monastery, humble but enduring, a symbol of the light within, and understood deeply. Wisdom is not something distant or lofty, but a small flame kindled in the heart, a light of mindfulness guiding each step. When the mind is illuminated, no suffering is without a way through. The meaning of the story, the lamp in the night, reminds us each of us may carry a bowl of suffering, so heavy that we forget the vast sky around us. But when we kindle the lamp of wisdom, through mindfulness, through understanding, the darkness of ignorance begins to recede. Suffering may not vanish at once, yet with light in our hearts, we can walk each step with clarity and even share that light with others. Buddhist wisdom is not found in distant theories, but in the small lamp within us, guiding each day to be lived with awareness.